What's the real cost of drinking and driving? For one bride in South Carolina, it was everything. For her groom, it was watching his wife die in her wedding dress. And for the driver that caused this tragic event, well, may God have mercy upon us all. I don't know if you've ever wondered how quickly the happiest day of a human's life can turn into his or her last. For this beautiful bride in South Carolina, that answer came at 65 miles per hour. I want you to take a moment and visualize a picture of a driver speeding down a quiet beach road at 65 miles per hour, her blood alcohol level 3 times over the legal limit. Now imagine that reckless decision colliding with the happiest day of a newlywed couple's life. On April 28, 2023, this tragic scenario became a horrifying reality. Jamie Lee Komorowski's Toyota Camry slammed into a golf cart carrying a bride who had been married for only a few precious hours. Stay with me as we unravel how a single, devastating choice turned a beautiful beach wedding into a nightmare of unimaginable loss. Welcome to True Crime Stories, 24/7. My name is Davis, and on today's episode of Crime Realities, we'll quickly look into the heartbreaking story of how a day filled with love and celebration ended with a bride's life cut short, her groom clinging to survival, and a 25-year-old woman facing years behind bars. If you're new here, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. On this channel, we share these stories not just to report tragedy, but to raise awareness and help prevent it from happening to others. Thank you for subscribing. It truly means a lot. Now, let's continue. The day had started like a fairy tale. Friends and family gathered on the shores of Folly Beach, South Carolina, a picturesque coastal town known for its celebratory atmosphere and stunning sunsets. Samantha Miller, a 34-year-old woman, was the kind of bride every wedding photographer dreams of capturing. Radiantly happy, deeply in love, and full of plans for the future. Her soon-to-be husband, Arik Hutchinson, waited at the altar, watching as the love of his life walked toward him across the sand. I want you to pay close attention so you don't get lost in this story. So, before I tell you about the moment that changed everything, you need to understand how 2 very different paths converged on that fatal night. While Samantha was getting her hair done and sharing nervous laughter with her bridesmaids, Jamie Lee Komorowski was beginning what investigators would later describe as a bar-hopping spree through the beach town's numerous drinking establishments. A fresh transplant to the area, she had been in South Carolina for less than a year. The decisions she made in the next few hours would devastate multiple families and terrify the whole of the community. The wedding reception was everything the couple had hoped for. They danced, they laughed, they cut the cake. Samantha kept telling everyone it was the happiest day of her life. There's a photo from the reception, taken just 45 minutes before the tragedy, that shows her throwing her head back in laughter at something Arik had whispered in her ear. What you're about to learn about that photo's significance will break your heart. As night fell over Folly Beach, 2 scenarios were unfolding simultaneously. The newlyweds were making their exit in true beach town style, on a decorated golf cart surrounded by the cheers and well-wishes of their loved ones. The gentle purr of the golf cart's motor, mixed with the sound of tin cans dragging behind it, tied there by playful wedding guests. But somewhere in the darkness, a Toyota Camry was speeding through the night, its driver's blood alcohol level reaching 0.261%, more than 3 times the legal limit. What happened next would send shockwaves through the community and raise serious questions about justice, responsibility, and the devastating consequences of one person's reckless decisions. Keep watching as I take you through the exact moments leading up to the collision that would turn wedding bells into sirens, and a white wedding dress into evidence in a criminal investigation that continues to unfold today. The impact that followed would be described by witnesses as like a bomb going off. When first responders arrived at the scene, they found a tableau of horror that would haunt them for years to come. A new bride, still in her wedding dress, lying motionless on the pavement. Her groom, critically injured but conscious, crawled toward her despite his severe injuries. And standing near her car, appearing dazed and confused, was Jamie Lee Komorowski. What I'm about to share next reveals how this tragedy led to a controversial legal decision that has left a community divided and a grieving family searching for justice. As investigators would later piece together, the collision occurred at precisely 10:12 p.m. The Toyota Camry, traveling at nearly triple the speed limit, struck the golf cart with such force that it rolled several times before coming to rest more than 100 yards away. Inside that golf cart were not just the newlyweds, but also Arik's brother and nephew, turning one family's celebration into a multi-victim tragedy. You might be wondering how someone could get behind the wheel in such a state. The toxicology report would later reveal that Komorowski's blood alcohol content was so high that most people would have lost consciousness. Yet somehow, she managed to drive through the beach town streets at speeds more commonly seen on highways. What happened in the immediate aftermath shows the true horror of drunk driving. While Samantha lay motionless on the pavement, still wearing the wedding dress she had chosen so carefully, her new husband Arik suffered injuries that would require multiple reconstruction surgeries and treatment for a severe brain injury. But what he endured physically paled in comparison to the emotional trauma of watching his bride die on what should have been their first night as husband and wife. But stay with me, because what the first responders witnessed that night reveals an even more disturbing picture. When police attempted to conduct a sobriety test, Komorowski could barely stand. Witnesses described her as dazed and confused, showing no immediate comprehension of the devastation she had caused. The responding officer's body camera footage, which would later be shown in court, captured her slurred words. "All I had was 2 drinks." 10 months after the crash, a decision would spark fresh controversy in this already tragic case. Despite facing charges of reckless vehicular homicide and 3 counts of driving under the influence causing death or great bodily injury, Komorowski was released on a $150,000 bond. The news sent shockwaves through the community and left Samantha's family grappling with a justice system they struggled to understand. Wow, what a justice. But that's quite unfair in my own opinion. Let me share with you the words of Lisa Miller, Samantha's mother, during the August bond hearing that will make your heart ache. "She didn't just kill my child," she told the court, her voice breaking with emotion. "She killed all of us." The legal proceedings that followed would reveal disturbing details about the hours leading up to the crash. Security camera footage from various bars showed Komorowski's progressive intoxication throughout the evening. Yet at each establishment, she was served more alcohol, raising questions about responsibility that extended beyond the driver herself. What happened next in the courtroom would leave even seasoned legal observers stunned. When prosecutors revealed that Komorowski's blood alcohol level was 0.261%, more than 3 times the legal limit, gasps echoed through the courtroom. But it was the judge's decision in March that would spark a new wave of controversy. Now under house arrest in Charleston County, Komorowski faces restrictions that seem lenient to many in the community. She can only leave home for medical emergencies or court orders. While she wears a secure continuous remote alcohol monitoring device, many wonder if this is enough punishment for a crime that ended one life and shattered countless others. But let me take you back to that wedding day one more time, because what I'm about to share will break your heart all over again. Hours before the tragedy, Samantha had written a note to Arik, tucked safely in their honeymoon luggage. It would never be read on that romantic getaway they had planned. Instead, it became evidence in a wrongful death lawsuit, a painful reminder of dreams that would never come true. The lawsuit, filed by Arik Hutchinson less than a month after losing his bride, tells a story of gross negligence that extends beyond just one drunk driver. The suit alleges that multiple bars continued serving Komorowski despite clear signs of intoxication. By the time she got behind the wheel, she was, as the lawsuit states, grossly and dangerously intoxicated. Here's something that will make you question everything about that night. Security footage from the last bar Komorowski visited shows her stumbling to her car. Not a single person stopped her. Not one person called a cab or took her keys. In a tourist town full of people, somehow everyone looked the other way. The impact of this tragedy continues to ripple through the community. Arik Hutchinson, who suffered a brain injury and multiple broken bones, faces a long road to recovery, both physically and emotionally. But it's his words at a recent court hearing that truly capture the senseless nature of this tragedy. "I'm still trying to figure out how to live without her." The legal proceedings are far from over. With Komorowski now out on bond, the case enters a new phase that has left many questioning our justice system. The prosecutor's admission that a March trial deadline was unrealistic has only added to the community's frustration. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of this story is its preventability. Every decision made that night, from the first drink to the last bar that served her, from the choice to drive to the fatal acceleration, could have been different, should have been different. Today, the stretch of beach road where Samantha Miller lost her life has become an unofficial memorial. Wedding flowers appear there regularly, left by other brides who pass by on their own wedding days. It's a reminder that tragedy doesn't just strike strangers. It could happen to any of us, on any day, even our happiest ones. As this case continues to unfold, one question haunts everyone involved. How many more wedding days need to end in tragedy before we take drunk driving seriously? How many more families need to lose their loved ones before we make real changes? Bear in mind that every decision we make behind the wheel has the power to change lives forever. Samantha Miller's story isn't just another headline, it's a wake-up call that demands action from all of us. The tragic death of Samantha Miller serves as a devastating reminder of how quickly lives can change, but it also teaches us crucial lessons that could save lives. Let's talk about what we can all learn from this heartbreaking case. First, understand that drunk driving deaths are entirely preventable. With today's technology, there's simply no excuse. Ride-sharing apps, taxi services, and designated driver programs are available in almost every community. The cost of an Uber ride might seem expensive, but it's nothing compared to the cost of a life. Here's something many people don't realize. The signs of dangerous intoxication are often visible long before someone reaches the level Komorowski did that night. If you see someone stumbling, slurring their words, or showing signs of confusion, don't assume someone else will handle it. Be the one who speaks up. Be the one who takes the keys. Be the one who makes the call that could save a life. For those planning weddings or any celebration, consider making transportation arrangements part of your event planning. Many couples now include shuttle services or pre-arranged ride-sharing codes as part of their wedding budget. Some even partner with local taxi companies to ensure their guests have safe rides home. I want you all to have this at the back of your minds that a blood alcohol level of 0.261 doesn't happen by accident. It comes from continued drinking without understanding or caring about the consequences. Learn to recognize your limits. Understand that alcohol impairment begins long before you feel drunk. To our viewers who work in bars and restaurants, you have both a legal and moral obligation to stop serving visibly intoxicated customers. The lawsuit in this case points to multiple establishments that could have prevented this tragedy by simply saying, "No more." If you're with someone who's been drinking, don't fall into the trap of thinking they'll probably be fine or that they've driven drunk before and nothing happened. Every time someone drives impaired, they're gambling with not just their life but the lives of innocent people like Samantha Miller. This is Davis, reminding you that the next time you hear someone say, "I'm fine to drive after drinking," remember Samantha Miller. Remember the white wedding dress stained red on the pavement. Remember the groom who became a widower on his wedding night. Remember that your decision to step in, to take keys, to call a ride, that decision could be the difference between life and death. Like and subscribe to True Crime Stories 24/7 if you want to keep learning from these real-life lessons that could save your life or the life of someone you love. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on this case. How do you think we can better prevent such tragedies in our communities? What changes would you like to see in how we handle drunk driving? Stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember, the life you save by speaking up might be that of someone's daughter, someone's sister, or someone's bride on what should be the happiest day of their life. Until I come your way again in another episode of Crime Realities with Davis, keep tuning in to True Crime Stories 24/7. Stay safe, take care, and be good. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.